Okay, this is going to show you how to convert these files into HTML with very specific coding. So the first step is this is the file that you just received from me, which is a zip file. And all you do is you open it up, unzip it, extract all files, and once you do that, it'll open up into a file that looks like this. So what you do is you hit Control A, which is select all, and then right click and open. What this will do is this is opening it up into individual tabs on Firefox. So now all those files are open. There's 60 of them total, and as you can see, it is 1 through 60 Medical All-Star 1. Okay. So then what you do is you open up a Word document, and you save this as the exact same title. And just save it to your desktop or whatever. 1 through 60 Medical All-Star 1. Yours might be 61 through 150, All-Star 1, All-Star 2, whatever it happens to be. Whatever the title is, just name it the same thing, and it's very important that you name it that right way. So reduce that. Kind of keep this over here. This is usually how I do it, is I take these and then sort of push them so that you've got two screens. Now, one of the real detailed parts of this is to make sure that each and every one of these files here is copied into this document over here. Okay, so all you do is you click, Control A, copy, keep as text only, paste, hit return, then you X out of this, and you go through each one, same thing, Control A, copy, go down here, next one, paste as, hit return a couple of times, X out of this one. There's 60 in here, so you should have 60 individual articles copied and pasted over to the Word document. I'm going to finish this one up and pause the tape. It's important after each one you do, you exit out so you don't duplicate it. Make sure you only copy each one once. Control A, copy, paste. Hit that return about 6 or 7 or 8 times. X out of this one so you don't do it again. Go to the next one. Control A, copy, paste. Hit it again. Go right back here, X that out. Just a note, you'll remember to copy. You'll note to X out this one if it's already highlighted gray. So if you're over here, X out of it, go back in, Control A, copy, hit return, paste, hit return again. Because this is grayed out, I can now exit out. Just a little tip there. It's really important that there's separation between each article. So make sure you're really diligent about separating each article out. Usually every article ends with, to see if you qualify for a kind of leasing, simply click here for a free quote. So hit the return key about 10 times and go on to your next one. Okay, so I got all of them out. As I click them, now I have nothing here in Firefox anymore. So I've got this Word document that is labeled exactly the same label, 1 through 60, Medical All-Star 1. Actually, let's just to keep it simple, 1 through 60. Do you want the numbers first? Medical All-Star 1. So whatever this file folder is named, I want the document, the Word document, and then ultimately a text document named the exact same thing. Okay? So now you have 60 pages of content on a singular Word document. It's 33,000 words. It is 87 pages. Now what you need to do is go through and make sure that you actually have all 60 in there. The biggest mistake with this is Xing out of Firefox and not remembering if you had copied and pasted it. There has to be 60. If I gave you 60, it's got to be 60 sent back to me. A couple of different ways to do this. Probably the easiest way to do it is to just count it by also doing another task at the same time. So, in each one of these, we need to delete out a certain headline. It's this right here. Okay? So, each one says written by. All right, 60 matches. That's good, but you could have 59 pages and 2 of the same, and you want to make sure that that's not the case. So, what you want to do is while you're going through this, in essence, you want to count each one and look and make sure each one as you're going through is original. So, this is the first thing you want to do. You want to get rid of that. Written by highlight. Again. Okay, that's 3. Maybe just check these off as you go. Doesn't matter if that's different than that one. Spell bed mattresses, that's different than that one. Spell bed mattresses, leasing and financing, exam room furniture, that's different than that one. I'm going to make this a little bit larger. Okay. That's that one, that's different than the one before. Medical equipment suppliers, that's different. So far, because this said 60 originally, you know that you're actually on the right track. So you have to go through each one of these and delete out the written by. Okay, I'm going to pause it as I finish this up. Okay, so I've taken out all the written by lines on all these. I've double checked. We actually have 60 original articles in here. Everything looks good. I'll probably want to just double check it just again, just to make sure there's no duplicate articles. But there should be 60 total. I'm going to use this. This is a line that we use at the end. See how many times it's written. And it's probably not a good indication. Because some of them actually don't have it at the end. Simply click here for a free quote. Simply click here for a free quote. Some actually say just click here for a free quote. Simply click here. So make sure that you have 60 in total. This right here is a typo. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is spell check it. Go up here, spelling and grammar. And then any of these, this is what's called a subheadline right here. Anything that has the first letter of each word capitalized is a subheadline. So we're going to ignore any of those spelling or capitalization. This is a medical term. So if you're actually, some of these medical terms may not show up in spelling and grammar, so you want to add those to the dictionary. Serco is one of those. Tips on hospital beds. Keep all these subheadlines, first letter capitalized. So I would just do next sentence. Once again, up here, this is what's called the title tag, which we're going to get into in just a second. It basically is the title of the article. Resume. I'm going to just hit ignore rule. See, here's a spelling error right here. Change that. Down payment. Could be one word, could be two words. We'll just make it two words. Healthcare. Somebody spelled Heath Care. I want to make sure we do that. Down payment. Separate that into two words. Libs should be is pounds. LBS period. Should change that. Once again, this is a subheadline. Okay, so we want all at the first letter of each word and a subheadline and in the title of the article capitalized. Okay, so next sentence there, one of the first places. So I think you get the idea. Oximeters, this is a medical term, so add it to your dictionary. Down payment. Clinton exam table. Some of these we're referring to a brand name. So if you're like a Clinton exam table, it's a type of exam table. So they're suggesting that you capitalize it, and you should. So change it. Change that. Change that. Change that. Change that. I'm going to pause the tape. I'm going to go through here, and if I find anything noteworthy, I will turn the tape back on. Some of these are just sort of syntax. See if you qualify for used medical office furniture leasing. Semicolon is much better. Something like this is a typo. Doesn't make sense. Bedside cabinets, carts. That's not good English. Bedside cabinet cart. So we change that. This is type, comma, features, and number of beds. Next sentence. This is another technical term, clinitron. Add to dictionary. Add to dictionary. Suits your business needs. Change. Used hospital beds. Sale. Change. This one is two words together. Change. This is a brand name. Some of these, you have to look in the article itself. High quality Ritter exam tables. Alright, so this is a brand name. This is a kind of exam tables. So, it should be capitalized. It's a proper noun. Ritter, 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 Ritter. Midmark is another name. The title. Sometimes we refer to different brands. Midmark is one of those brands. Okay, add to dictionary. These are also brands. Add to dictionary. This is another medical term right here. Cephalocaudal assessments. Add to dictionary. I think you get the idea. Once again, you might have some strange words in here. These are brand names of medical equipment. So you want to add that to the dictionary. These furniture have greatly improved. Change that. On getting suggest the. You make a cash purchase, that's fine. Make a cash purchase. We actually like that, so keep saying that. Keep that in there. Make a cash purchase. Next sentence. Back to down payment again. And I'll pause. This is the name of the company here. We want to make sure that it's spelled correctly. Capital L, E-A-S-E, capital Q. Should add that to your dictionary so it picks out any mistakes or any errors. This is a syntax error. Options is to purchase. Correct thing would be to say is options are to purchase. Okay, so now you've got this massive document that's all spell checked. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to put it into this tool right here. Okay? Convert Word to HTML. Alright, so convert a Word doc, here it is right here. What we're going to do is select all, Control A, copy, open this up, simply right click, paste it all in, and then click Convert Word to HTML. Now it's in HTML, which is the code for websites. So we're going to highlight that all. We're going to copy it. Going to open up a new notepad. I'm going to paste it in there. Now, what happens in Notepad is that you can do a couple of different things. You can view it as a word wrap, or you can view it without word wrap. I choose to do word wrap just because it's so much easier. I usually minimize it a little bit and make it about halfway on the screen. We can then X out of all that. You actually, believe it or not, save this Word document for future use. So save, keep it in a file somewhere, or actually that's not going to be the thing that you're going to submit to me. Now I'm going to save this again. Save as. Put it in a spot where you know you can find it. Name it the exact same title, 1 through 60, medical, all star 1 .txt, because it's a text file. Okay, now it's saved. Now, what happens with this is, unfortunately, even though you separated out each one, when you convert the Word document to a text file, it actually bunches it back up again, which is a real pain. So you're going to have to go back through this and separate them all out. Okay, so that's the next step in the process. So how do you know when there's the beginning and where's the end of an article? You simply look for the title, and then usually each and every one has to see if you qualify for hospital bed leasing or whatever the leasing is. Simply click here for a free quote. There's a few that don't have it exactly like that, but most of them do. Now you can use this find button, but and that might be actually a good way to do it. I just found it there. Find next. Sometimes it doesn't find it correctly, so, and sometimes it skips ahead, so it's not as reliable. So give plenty of space between each one. See how much space is between this and how much space? It's about 10 hits on the return key. Usually they're about 500 or 600 words, so you can usually just find it. Just hit return. Just have to look for it. Simply click here for a free quote. Return. Simply click here for a free quote. I'm clicking just after it and then hitting the return key about 10 times. This is a really important step, because what happens is their programmer takes this entire file and uploads it in a mass file into the HTML of the website. So we need to make sure that he knows that one page begins and then one page ends, or one page ends and then another one begins. So you got to find, click here for a free quote. You can try this here. Sometimes it's helpful. That one was helpful, but I usually just look for it. Okay. Here for a free quote. I'm going to pause it right now. Many times that final line is on a line by itself. It ideally should be, but on some it isn't. In future ones, we'll make sure that it's always there because it's very easy to identify. See, this one is on its own line. Some are actually inside that final paragraph. They're both fine, but it makes it easier for you to find them when they're on their own line. Usually on each article, there's a title. There's this right here, which is called a meta description. Then there's one headline, second headline, and then there's a third headline, and then there's some space, and then there's this tagline. So that's the structure for all of them. They each have 3 subheadlines. Here's one where it's actually kind of hard to find it. Here it is right here. Here's the end. And there's your title tag. You can usually tell this is your title. It's one line, and then this meta description, which I'll get to you and explain what that is in a second. It's usually about 1 to 2 lines, and it starts off each new article. Here's an interesting one because these 2 articles are very similar. One's about mid-mark exam tables, and the other one is actually about mid-mark exam table. So there's the end of this one and the beginning of that next one. Something to watch out for. Another thing to keep in mind is that the title is usually repeated a lot in that individual article. So this is Medical Equipment Leasing Company. A little bit tougher to find this one, but there it is right there. Okay. Medical Equipment Lease Rates. This is a different article. So if you see one that's on 2 different things, then you know that you have not separated them correctly. Here's an interesting one because this one, this is my error. I missed that this writer did not put that final line in there. So here's what we need to do. We need to go back to one of these other ones, find one where it's all on its own line. Unfortunately, I'm looking back here. I'm going to copy that one. That needs to be in there. And then I just scroll back down to insert it, and you'll see what I'll do. This one snuck by. These medical cards. This one's okay. So I'll paste it, and then I'll go back up and I'll figure out reliable medical equipment finance companies. Okay, finance companies, medical equipment leasing, medical equipment financing. Okay. This line is always to see if you qualify for medical exam, whatever the product is, leasing. This is just going to be medical equipment leasing. You're talking about finance companies. You can't say medical equipment finance companies leasing. You don't lease a medical finance company, but you do lease medical equipment, if that makes sense. So just something to watch out for. Most of these will have this final tagline in it, but occasionally they won't. So be on the lookout for it. This is another one right here, but this is medical equipment medical device manufacturer leasing. Really hard to tell where. Right here, simply click here for a free quote, click there, and now you know where one begins and one ends. Alright, so we separated them all out. It's all 60 pages are all separated out. I'm going to go right back up to the top now. X out of this. Here's the next thing that we need to do. Now, for each one of these articles, you're going to do this. I'm going to do it for the first 2 or 3 here to give you the idea of how to do it, and then you can use that as a model page, and you'll know how to do all the rest of them. So, the first thing that you do is you copy this right here from our cheats. Put it above. Okay? Actually, you're going to take this from the cheats, just revise this. You're going to take this. Paste that in exactly as is. Now, notice that this says your keywords from the page. This particular article is about hospital bed. That's our keyword. So what you want to do is you want to put in here between the / and the quote hospital - bed. Then take this HTTPS, copy it, then go into medical equipment tracking. Find hospital. Be good to spell it right. Spell bed. There it is. Copy and paste it right in there. Okay? Save this. You're going to be sending me this. You're also going to be sending me the completed files. So you can do it however you want to do it. You can reduce this maybe, put this over here. What we're doing is we're creating URLs for each one of these pages. So that's the first thing you do. Second thing you do, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, is you then take this, meta name, description, comma, highlight this. This is your meta description right here. This is not your title. Actually, I'll do the title first. Title first, just to keep it logical. Paste. Only on your title. This is what's called a title tag. You're getting your very first lesson in HTML coding. Then we take meta description, paste that there. See how this has these two little quotes? You then take your meta description, cut it, and put it right between those two little quotes. And then we get rid of that guy. Okay? So, I'm going to put this up here so this is easier. Alright, so we're almost done with this page. This is one page right here. Okay? A couple more things you need to do. This is a P. This basically tells the computer that this is a paragraph. but we want to tell them that this is what's called an H1 tag. First one is an H1 tag. You can copy and paste them individually, or you can do them just like the way that I did it. So that's now, and that's going to show up as a larger font on the web page. This is a paragraph, this is a paragraph, this is a paragraph, this is a paragraph. This is another headline. Okay, for the second one, same thing. Another H1 tag. Oops, that one actually has to go on the back end. Notice how it's got this little /. That means the code is closing on it. So I copy this, paste that. So I've got an H1 tag, an H1 tag. Actually, on second thought, let's make these H2 tags. Your first headline is an H1 tag. Your second and your third are going to be H2 tags. Here's another headline here. What this basically tells Google is H1 means this is the most important headline on the page. This is what the page is about. The H2 tag says this is what it's about secondarily. So we want to rank for the keyword phrase hospital bed, but we also want to rank for hospital bed leasing and hospital bed financing. This page is now completed, believe it or not. Okay? So I'm going to go through another one here just to maybe get it a little bit faster. Okay? Alright. It's really important that your rel, let's call your rel canonical link right here, is not duplicate. Can't be the same as any other page, so it needs to be original. This last one was hospital bed. Okay, this one is about hospital bed rental. So now I'm going to put hospital bed rental in here. Hospital, make sure you spell it right, bed rental. Okay, now I'm going to take this, copy it, go into my tracking sheet, find, isn't that convenient, hospital bed rental. There it is, right there. Copy and paste that in, return. So what we're doing is we're tracking all these. None of these on this sheet should be the same. Okay? Yeah. I'm going to take this one out. Okay. You'll eventually find this one. I think that is in the first batch. But, so each one of these has got to be an individual. Think about it this way. If you have a URL or a website URL that's the same, Google won't know which to go to. So these have to be unique. Okay, so I put my rel canonical here. Don't need to know what that is for right now. Alright, I'm going to get my HTML cheats up again. Pull out my title tags, and I'm going really slow here, but make sure that there is no space. Okay, I'm just going right over that P. That P basically tells the computer that this is a paragraph. Okay, but we want them to know that this is the title. Here is your meta description. Okay, copy. If you can figure out a faster way to do it, by all means do it. I'm capturing everything, cutting, including that last period. Paste. Make sure that's right up against that. All right, if we actually formatted this or viewed it without word wrap, you would see that this is very large. Okay, it's a long link. There's your title, there's your meta description. It's perfect. Okay, like I said, I do this wrap. Word wrap actually helps me. If you find that you need to do it a different way, that's fine. Okay, then I go with my H1s. Find my H1, my first H1's right here. Okay, remember that first one without the forward slash goes on the first one, last one there. You can even write these in if you want. That's H2. That's H2. H2. This is actually the way that I usually do it. And then that's it. So that page is done. So see how I did that one? That was much faster. All right. So go through all these. I just did 2, so there's 58 more on this page. I think you know exactly how to do it. Make sure you save it at every step of the way so you don't lose your work. Save as Medical All-Star. Save. Overwrite. And then make sure that you, on each one, every time you get a new URL, you add it to this medical equipment leasing URL tracking sheet. Really, really important. You do each one of these pieces exactly right. Let me know if you have any questions at all.